Elvira. The audience and I were having a little Oak Ridge Boys dance party there in the break. Yeah. Elvira. Bow wow. Anyway, so good. Well, let's continue with the, thank you, audience. Let's continue with the music theme. The boy band craze was a real thing in the late 80s, or late 90s and the early 2000s. And our next guest was and continues to be at the center of it all. Look. Well, he's become a friend of our show over the years. Audience, give it up for Jeff Timmons from 98 Degrees. Hi, Jeff.
How you doing, Jason?
Hi, buddy.
I appreciate it as always.
Hey, I love when you stop by. Thank you so much. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing great, man. Just keeping busy and thankful for it. You know, after the pandemic, it was pretty crazy. We were stuck doing these Zooms and these kinds of performances. In fact, I think we even did one during that time.
We did.
Zoom satellite. And it's great to be back on the road, be back in front of people, performing live. It feels amazing.
Jeff, that's actually a good place to start. I was listening to Stern, and Imagine Dragons was on there, and they were talking about how the pandemic for them led to a lot of creative moments and revolution. Did anything creatively positive come from that? Because you and I did speak during that time. Did anything positive creatively come from that time for you?
Absolutely. As terrible as the pandemic was, the whole industry had to shift. So there were all these developing technologies and ways for fans to communicate with their favorite artists, and some very, very cutting edge stuff developed. And I mean, look, and outside of the entertainment part of it, you got to spend more time with your family. And look, as tough as this business is, you have to take things as they come. And we got used to just performing on the weekends and then going home, and you sort of get kind of spoiled with that routine. And the pandemic kind of forced you to pivot and get creative on just everything with regards to your career, communication with your fans, interviews like this. This would have never been in vogue back in the day. Maybe once in a while. Now it's sort of the thing to do. And I think there were obviously the pandemic was horrible, but and there were some parts that were sort of a blessing in disguise, I think.
Yeah, it's a good point. Practically speaking, I'm imagining that's your home right there. We would never be talking to you at your house like 7 years ago.
No, I mean, look, you come into the studio, or you don't do an interview. You do an occasional phoner if you're on the radio, but they don't see you. And then, look, the pandemic forced us to sort of find out different ways, become innovative in how we, could promote products and get ourselves out there with regards to things we were doing, and kind of keep our fans informed. Speaking of promoting a boy band Christmas, tell everyone about that. I love this. Well, it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, look, this was originally set to be a 98 Degrees tour, and unfortunately, we couldn't make it work with Nick. And we would love to have done that as a group, but we've had sort of these mix and match sort of shows with groups from different band members and stuff like that, like the After Party and ATCK and Backsync. We thought, why not do a Christmas version of it? I mean, we've toured with these guys, obviously with our groups together over the years. Why not put it all together and have some holiday fun? Sing the classics, sing all the hits, but sprinkle in some holiday greeting cheer as well. So,
Jeff, did you ever imagine? And I think you and I have talked about this before. The fact that there's been like a renaissance of this era of music. I mean, you and I are about the same age. That you guys, this boy band era, and like you said, all of the versions, the mixtape tour, and you guys on tour, and NSYNC and Backstreet. Did you ever think that this? I mean, music and entertainment is cyclical, but did you ever think that the pendulum would swing back to you guys in such a successful way?
Well, never. You had hoped, obviously, never in a million years when we started the group and we saw the ebbs and flows of things, did we really think we would be around doing this? We're almost 27 years into our careers since we met. And so we feel blessed and fortunate. Certainly didn't expect it, but I think we came at a time, it was pre 9/11, a lot of innocence there. A lot of our fans were mostly teen girls. And I think there's a certain nostalgia to that era and the music at that time that people have a love and affinity for. And not only that, it's where a lot of these girls and guys met their best friends, and they share an experience together and share that nostalgia and love for this type of music together. So as much as we think we're cool, there are things beyond the music and our group ourselves that sort of draw people to this genre and this sort of style of music.
Yeah, 20-some years and you haven't aged a bit. I hate you. I mean, seriously, you haven't aged a bit. I tell you that every time.
I'm using that Zoom filter.
No, you are not.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm using that.
We're gonna.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it, man.
No, go ahead, Jeff.
No, I noticed today when I got on, I was like, there's something that says your enhancement. I was like, do I press it? It almost makes my face not even exist. So I kind of just went with the soft lighting.
That's the filter they use here at Fox for me, Jeff. It just smooths everything out. We're going to take a break. More fun with Jeff when we come back. Back in a moment. By the way, Leo, keep that filter on, by the way, when I'm with Jeff. Welcome back. We are back. We're back with our friend Jeff Timmons from 98 Degrees. Before we play a game, Jeff, I was wondering, you're talking about the era that you guys rose to popularity, and we always talk about celebrities now with, Twitter and Instagram and OnlyFans and all this stuff. How do you think you would have handled being a teen star in this era where there's so much more pressure?
I just don't know. I mean, it was tough for us, and we weren't teens. We were in our early 20s.
Yeah.
We had none of these things at our disposal. Now, look, sometimes I look at them and go, "Wow, we would have been exponentially bigger had we had all these tools and these tech gadgets at our disposal to grow our fan base." But at the same time, looking back, being in my early 20s and from a small town in Ohio and sort of being thrown into the fire and almost experienced what seemed like almost overnight success, it was really tough. I mean, we didn't know who to trust. We didn't know who to trust within our camp. We didn't know who to trust. I mean, distant relatives started coming out of the woodwork everywhere, and it just was a crazy time in the whirlwind. I just don't know. I don't know how we would have handled it. I'm sure we would have tried to adjust, but looking back, I don't think we could have.
Jeff, did you have like random relatives asking you to pay their Sears bill and things?
Oh man, we had crazy stuff happen. I mean, at that time, it wasn't digital, so VHS, unauthorized VHS tapes of our biography. I had a long lost cousin on there that I had never even met in my life, narrating his relationship with me and my family. It was totally bizarre. So just getting a little snapshot of that and how that was a little rough, I just can't imagine how folks would deal with it today and at a young age.
We're going to play a little game with Jeff. We're going to call it What Has More Views. So here's how it's going to go. We're going to give Jeff a pair of 98 Degrees songs, and Jeff is going to tell us which one he thinks, speaking of new technology, has more views on the official 98 Degrees YouTube page. Now keep in mind, the songs came out before YouTube was the thing. So here we go. Jeff, first up, I Do versus Because of You. What has more views?
Well, Because of You ranked higher on the charts, but I Do has lasted and transcended time a little bit better than Because of You. So I'll say I Do.
Let's see. Is he right? Roll it, Leo. That's right. I Do has 37 million views. And Because of You has 22 million views. Wow. Such a good song. Okay, next up, Jeff. The Hardest Thing and My Everything.
Yeah, well, My Everything came out a little towards the end of our little cycle there. And Hardest Thing was a more popular song, for sure. So I'm going to go with The Hardest Thing.
Leo, is he right?
There can be no
That's right. The Hardest Thing has 15 million views, and My Everything close behind, but still number 2 at 13 million views. Close. Okay, finally, Invisible Man versus Give Me Just One Night.
I'm going to say Give Me Just One Night only because I think that the song has more tempo to it. Invisible Man was kind of when we were still on Motown and we were essentially invisible to the public. I'm going to go with Una Noche.
Okay, and the winner is, Leo? Nope, Invisible Man. Listen to this spread, though. Wait, listen to the spread. Invisible Man has 8.7 million views. Give Me Just One Night, 3.8 million.
Wow.
I know.
What a shocker. Yeah, I mean, that's, well, I like that song better, so that makes me really happy.
Well, Jeff, as always, I so appreciate your time whenever you can give it to us, and I can't wait to see the show. Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, Jason. I appreciate you guys. Thanks as always.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Catch a boy band Christmas at Mystic Lake. That's right, Mystic Lake. On December 21st for tickets, no matter where you're watching our show, boop, right there, boybandchristmas.com. Can I tell you really quick, Lori Lees Fisher is one of the executive producers here. And I changed her name. I don't want to embarrass her, but and she loves Jeff, and she booked Jeff. She handed me a sheet. Now this sheet is supposed to be info about Jeff. All it is things that Lori likes about Jeff. That's all this is. I'm not joking. This is supposed to be questions about Jeff. It's all things that Lori likes about Jeff. We'll be right back in a moment. I have re-fallen in love with 98's first album.